Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Databricks, episode 11 of 15. If 3 different departments build 3 different dashboards to track revenue, and they bring 3 different numbers to the executive meeting, you do not have a data pipeline problem. You have a semantic layer problem. The solution is establishing a semantic layer as one source of truth, and in Databricks SQL, you do this using metric views. Raw data is rarely structured the way business users think. Database tables contain obscure column names, complex joins, and raw transaction logs. A semantic layer bridges this gap by translating that underlying data into familiar business concepts. Let us look at a classic scenario where this breaks down. Your marketing team and your finance team both report on monthly active users. Marketing writes a query in their dashboard that counts anyone who opened the application. Finance writes a different query in a separate tool that only counts users who completed a transaction. Both teams call their metric monthly active users. When the numbers clash, organizational trust in the data collapses. Defining monthly active users as a metric view inside Unity Catalog fixes this forever. To understand why, we need to clarify what this feature actually is. A metric view is not the same thing as a standard SQL view. A standard SQL view simply saves a query that returns raw rows and columns, leaving it entirely up to the end user to decide how to sum, average, or group that data later. A metric view is much stricter. It enforces specific aggregation calculations and dimensionality directly at the catalog level. When you create a metric view, you lock in the exact business logic. You define the measure, such as a distinct count of user IDs based on specific transaction criteria. You also define the allowable dimensions. This means you explicitly dictate that this metric can only be sliced by specific attributes like the transaction date, the user region, or the device type. Here is the key insight. Once that metric view is published in Unity Catalog, it becomes the single authoritative definition of monthly active users for the entire company. When analysts connect to Databricks SQL, they do not write custom logic to aggregate the data. They do not join tables or write where clauses to filter active states. They simply query the metric view. This completely decouples the metric definition from the presentation layer. It does not matter if marketing is using Tableau, finance is using Power BI, and the product team is using native Databricks dashboards. The business intelligence tool just asks for the metric, and Databricks performs the predefined calculation on the server side. Because the logic lives centrally in Unity Catalog, it is impossible for different departments to accidentally invent their own math. They all retrieve the exact same number, ensuring perfect consistency across the organization. The real power of a semantic layer is not technical efficiency, it's taking business logic out of disconnected downstream tools and baking it directly into the foundation of the data platform itself. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.